Good morning guys, so today we've attended this little Ford Focus. Now this Ford Focus has got ABS warning lights on the dash, but there's a little bit of a story behind this one. Now this car was in a garage for an ABS light present. They've replaced the ABS sensor and the hub, but the lights are still on the dash. Now the garage in question did not diagnose this car wrong, they were correct, so why is the ABS light still present? Now we've seen this issue before on these Ford Focuses. There's actually a video that I'll leave in the description, and I might pop it up, the actual thumbnail of it, on this video as well at some point. But we're going to run through the diagnosis anyway, and we'll show you why they've not diagnosed it wrong, but it's still not fixed. So the first thing that we're going to do is start up the car, and we'll show you what warning lights we've got present. So we've got an engine management light that is separate. We've got active city stop, not active. We've got ABS lights on and TPMS. So the fault codes that we've got with this car is on ABS. We have got steering wheel position sensor. You'll understand why that's in correlation later on. We've got the rear left wheel speed sensor, which is our main fault. If we go into BCM, tyre pressure sensor, invalid data, so we'll have a lot of invalid data coming up here, just as a kind of effect of the ABS fault. Now this fault is separate, and we will be showing you how we're going to fix this. So it's a P2455 and a P06A6 sensor reference voltage A, circuit range performance, and particulate differential pressure sensor, high voltage. So we'll have a look at that as well. And park assist. So the rest of the fault codes that are in the system at the minute is all just invalid data and random stuff that we do not need to worry about at the minute. So the first thing that I always do with an ABS fault when it's relating to a sensor is we go into live data, and you can see, in fact we might not have the ignition on. If we turn the ignition on, you can see left rear wheel speed sensor is sitting at 255, that's a default value, but the rest of them are sitting at 0, which is absolutely fine. So we know that we need to focus on the left rear wheel speed sensor due to the fact that we've got a fault code for that. Just to show you guys that this has had a new hub and an ABS sensor, we've just set up the torch underneath, and we're just going to show you. It's basically been done about a week ago, so everything's still more or less looking brand new. So I hope you can see there, because I can barely get my head under, that the ABS sensor and the hub is nice and shiny, so we know that that's been renewed, but we'll take these across to the other side and see if you can spot anything different. So we're now at the driver's side rear, and we just want to show you underneath here. Now this side obviously hasn't been touched, but just let me know if you can see anything different compared to the near side rear. So if anyone has spotted what's different straight away, just put that in the comments. But I think it's time we should let you know what has happened on the other side. So if you guys guessed right, you can see compared to the near side rear and the off side rear, the near side rear has a black sensor and the off side rear has a grey. Now when we spoke to the customer regarding this issue, I've not really done a lot of wiring faults on these regarding ABS sensors, so when he was explaining, you know, what was happening and what's been changed, I did ask him if he did have park assist, and he says yes. So I'll leave the video that I've done on one of these before. It was on a Ford Focus as well, I can't remember what year, but the Ford Focus Titanium or something like that. Both ABS sensors had went out and it stopped the car from starting. So I'll leave that video, just a wee glimpse of that thumbnail here. If you're interested, go and take a watch of that one. It will explain things a bit better, hopefully. But the reason this car is not happy is because it's got the wrong component installed, so it doesn't know how to work basically with that standard ABS sensor. Now we've got a park assist ABS sensor, we brung that with us, and we're going to get that fitted to the car and see if that makes a difference. Now we've installed the new, or I should say the grey correct ABS sensor, and we'll just slide under and show you it right now. You can see we've got a grey ABS sensor in. Well, I'm hoping you can see, but the sensor is now fitted, and to be fair, the sensor that apparently came with the new hub, there's nothing virtually different about it apart from the colour. Everything else, it will fit the same. It's just obviously what's happening in here, the internals are different, and obviously the colour itself is black instead of grey. Now let's turn ignition on. We'll go into our scan tool and see if there's anything changed on the speeds, and might need to clear the fault codes. So you can see straight away there, left rear wheel speed sensor has went to 0. So the default value is away because the ABS control unit knows that it's got the right component installed. So we're going to read fault code. So we've got a signal comparison error, but that's just because in correlation with the ABS sensor being wrong. So click clear DTCs. OK. And we'll just go for a full system clear. Get rid of most of these warning lights. We have still got to deal with that reference voltage fault on the DPF pressure sensor. So we'll deal with that after we know that this is definitely fixed. The engine management light's out at the minute, however there is still a continuous memory fault code for the DPF pressure sensor. So we've located the DPF pressure sensor, we've unplugged it, and we're just going to check the 3 wires. Now we know that we should obviously have a 5 volt reference, a ground and a signal going back to the ECM. The easiest way that we're going to check that is just with the little OTC 3633. Obviously that's suitable for these circuits and the amount of load that they carry. So we're just going to twist these around now and we'll check a couple of things on it. So if we look here, that's our plug, and we'll have a 5 volt reference, a ground and a signal back to the ECU. So we've just connected up our test lamp there to battery positive, and we're going to try this one-handed. So with this connected up to battery positive, we should have an earth. You can see it's lit up there, so we should have an earth on this plug. Now if we go into the first pin, I haven't checked the wiring diagram, so I don't know what pins are what now. So you can see we've got absolutely nothing on that pin, or any of the pins in fact, for a ground. So that is looking like our issue, to be honest. But we'll just turn ignition on and make sure that we've got everything else a 5 volt reference before we go looking for a ground issue. So we're just going to connect our crocodile clip to a good ground. The ignition is currently on at the minute as well, and what we're hoping to see here is a 5 volt reference. So that still should light up this little test lamp. Got nothing there and nothing there. And I'll just double check that the ignition is on, because surely we're no missing both. So the ignition is on. I'll just turn it off there now. And just to make sure our test lamp's got a good earth, you can see that's lit up. So strangely enough, we're missing a 5 volt reference and a ground. Okay, let me dig up a wiring diagram just to make sure I'm not being silly here, and I'll come back to you. So we've got no reason to dig up a wiring diagram. I've just simply done a pull test on the wiring harness, and you can see both of the wires are broke. So if you look here, they're not corroded in any way. It just looks as if the angle that goes into on that conduit is too tight, and it's snapped or rubbed through those two cables, causing this issue. So we'll get those two repaired, and hopefully the DPF pressure sensor is good. So guys, we've just played back the footage that we've been recording over the past maybe half an hour to an hour, and we've just realised there's a lot of crackling noise coming from the mic. So you'll just probably need to deal with that. I don't know why that's happening. Hopefully it's not happening at the minute, but we might try and put a sort of filter in the background during editing just to make sure that that doesn't happen. But there is something going wrong here with the mic itself, which is annoying because it isn't that old. So we might be returning this for some sort of warranty fix. But anyway, we've repaired those wires, those 3 wires. We've not checked them yet, but we're just going to go into live data again on Ford. So the ignition's currently on. We'll go into PCM and just make sure that our DPF pressure sensor is able to read, and the fault code is obviously away. So let's go into PCM. Like I says, I really hope we can get this noise away from the mic itself, because it's annoying. I don't know if there's something wrong with the filter or something inside it. I don't know how it works. But we'll go into read data stream, click on differential pressure. So we'll start the car up and we'll graph it. So there's 2 options here for differential pressure. One of them doesn't give you the pressure, one of them is just 0 for some reason. So if we go into graph, it is changing no problem. So I'll spin these around. So you can see we've got a spike there. So that has fixed the DPF pressure sensor fault. It's just those wires that were broken or snapped. And we've got no fault codes. We'll need to reset the TPMS, or maybe that reset won't work. I don't know if these TPMS lights were on before. But yeah, it just goes to show that sometimes you can get the wrong parts. So the garage diagnosed it right. It's just obviously when they've fitted the new parts, it's obviously confused them because the lights haven't went out. But there is 2 types of sensors, remember, for these. The grey one is the park assist, the black one is not park assist. So keep that in mind if you've got one of these Ford Focuses. I'm also going to put a TOPDON discount link. I'll try that again. I'm going to put a TOPDON discount link in the description if you're interested in going and have a look at the X-Link. So that'll be in the description if you're looking to purchase that, or just go and have a look at the spec of the tool itself. But that's this Ford Focus done. We'll have a wee look at the wheel speeds, make sure the ABS pickups and all that are alright before they go. So we've had the car out a run now. It's running absolutely fine. No warning lights on the dash. The TPMS light is now out. I'll just show you. So you can see you've got no warning lights present. The battery's going to run out in this thing, so I need to get this recorded quickly. But yeah, before anybody slates the garage in the comments, the garage never charged for any labour or any parts, so everything on this car was done for nothing, apart from obviously my time. I've had it before as well. I've been caught out with parts, so it isn't the garage fault. It's the parts department fault that have supplied those parts for this vehicle, because they've got all the details and they've got 2 options, and they should have notified them that there's 2 options on the car. So that's that, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.